Back in from the break here, folks, on the number one forum for Bama football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine, getting that work week started off for you correctly on a Monday. Alabama men's basketball playing tonight, round of 32 in the NCAA tournament, taking on the 10-seed Maryland. Also, congratulations to Alabama women's basketball getting that win over North Carolina in the first round of 64. It moves on, dances on, as I should say, to the round of 32. So Alabama athletics doing its thing here in the NCAA tournament. But as we're back in here from the break, we go to now other huge, important highlights from Alabama's first day of spring practice, which took place on Friday of last week. The second day of practice was today. But get into some other important notes here. Number one, it goes to the running back position, and that is one Keelan Robinson, folks. K-Rob is no joke. B-Rob is good. B-Rob is going to be the primary back. He's going to be the main back, the featured back, and he's earned it. He's worked for it. But K-Rob, Keelan Robinson is no joke. Not only are we talking about the size, are we talking about the speed that this young man has, that he had as a freshman 2019, but the way he built up his body last year despite not being on the campus due to COVID, he transformed his body. He's got a brand new look about himself. He's ready to do some damage, and he's also now catching passes out the backfield. He can catch too. This is huge. This is big because Bill O'Brien in the NFL with the New England Patriots, he had running backs catching passes out of the backfield. With the Houston Texans, he had backs catching balls out the backfield. So hearing this information that Keelan Robinson is not just fast, he not only has the new look with the body, but he's now catching balls out the backfield as a receiver, showing that versatility. This adds more to the fact he is going to get a lot of work here in the upcoming season, starting off at the spring. But Brian Robinson was one of two players that was available to the media today, along with Christian Harris. And I got a chance to talk to B-Rob about getting K-Rob back on the roster. Check out Brian Robinson here.
Stephen, go ahead.
Brian, just the return of Keelan Robinson. What did he bring in the fourth quarter program, and what's the excitement having him back in that rotation?
We super excited to have Keelan back in the room with us. We missed him last year. He still has, all of his abilities. He's very fast. He's picked up some weight this offseason. So, he has a new look to him, and we're just excited to see what he can bring to our room, with returning back this year, with missing him last year.
That was Brian Robinson there talking to one Keelan Robinson, of whom K-Rob back here on the roster, back here in the rotation. And I'm really excited about what he will be able to do here for this offense at that running back position. So he had the speed in 2019. We saw that. We saw what that was capable of. Now he's added some muscle to that body, and now he's catching passes out of the backfield. Really intrigued by what Robinson will do in the upcoming season, but starting off this spring. The next major highlight here goes to the wide receiver position, and that is Javon Baker and Xavier Williams. This is a big spring, an important spring for both of these two. With John Mechie limited in spring practice, he's getting over an ankle/hip issue. With John Mechie limited, this is a massive chance for Javon Baker to show it's my time. It's my time. It's my moment. At 6'2", 195 pounds, the former five-star out of McEachern High School in Powder Springs, Georgia. We know he's got the size. He's got the hands. He's got the ability to make big plays. The one thing he's been lacking to be a complete player and getting on the field is the blocking ability. And whether that is blocking in the run game or springing a fellow wide receiver down the field for big plays, chunk yardage, maybe a touchdown here or there, that's the only part that he has to clean up. Coach Saban has always been one who has been adamant about, if you do not have the ball, if the ball is not in your hands, you got to find some way to be engaged. As a blocker in the run game, as a blocker in the receiving aspect, you got to still be engaged on the field. And if Javon Baker cleans up the blocking here in spring ball, he is going to have massive production here on the field, or get a lot of action on the field in terms of playing time in the upcoming season. With the Mechie limited, Baker, Slade Bolden, and Xavier Williams will be the 3 starters in this rotation. When you look at Xavier Williams, I've mentioned this before, Nick Saban recruits nothing but studs at 4 different positions: running back, wide receiver, defensive back, and linebacker. You can add quarterback in there now at this point, but more times than not, when you have Coach Saban on the recruiting trail, U.S. fans, you know Saban is going to hit on a stud 9 times out of 10 when you discuss running back, wide receiver, defensive back, and linebacker. And he recruits so much talent at those 4 positions that at times we lose track of who's on the roster, who is still in the program, who is still in the system, because there's piles on top of piles on top of piles on top of piles of recruiting classes stacked on top of each other. And in the case of Xavier Williams, he came in 2018 with Jalen Waddle, with Slade Bolden, and couldn't quite get on the field that first year, couldn't quite get on the field to break through that second year, and you've had the 2019 class on top of him, the 2020 class on top of him. Now the 2021 class is coming here, but Ziggy has found a way to dig his way up. He has found a way to dig his way through. This past season, got on the field, made some plays against Florida in the SEC championship game, made some plays against Notre Dame in the Rose Bowl, had a catch or 2 in the national championship against Ohio State. So he has dug his way up, and Xavier has put himself in position in a situation where if he breaks out, if he breaks through, if he remains consistent, he's a starter at that wide receiver spot. And at 6'1", 190 pounds plus, he's got physicality, he's got toughness, he's got ball skills, he's got speed, he's got the ability to produce some big things on the field as well. So with Mechie limited, this is a huge spring for Baker and Williams. How bad do you want it? Is your time right now? Are you ready to get down with the get down? This is the spring for Baker and Williams to step up and do their stuff right there. And last but not least, when you look at the offensive line in terms of other important highlights, right now, as far as the first team offensive line is concerned, I was told that first team group on Friday, and it probably was the same today, was Evan Neal left tackle, Tommy Brown left guard, Chris Owens at center. Right guard was Javon Cohan, and right tackle was Kendall Randolph. So Javon Cohan in that right guard position, the young man from Phoenix City, from Central Phoenix City High School here in Alabama. So Javon Cohan getting that look there at right guard, Kendall Randolph at right tackle. But that was the first team offensive line. The second team offensive line, the one freshman from this 2021 venue that's getting some action right now, is big J.C. Latham, the young man from IMG Academy in Florida. He's really starting to turn some heads. Now the Brockermeyer boys doing well. Tommy and James Brockermeyer doing well. But right now, J.C. Latham has taken that step forward as the freshman on the offensive line, suiting up here for that second team unit at right tackle. So big news there coming from one Latham. Now, if he continues to push like he's doing, he may have an opportunity to get into that first team group, to get into that first team unit, just due to Pierce Quick, limited throughout spring, Emil Ekiyor, limited throughout spring. So there's a lot of opportunities for young players. There's a lot of opportunities for veteran players to get acclimated, to get on the field, to show the coaching staff what they can do, and to create huge production there on the field this spring here. But that's just there. Some updates here, some other marquee high points from the first day of spring practice for the Crimson Tide, which took place on Friday of last week. We take our next break here on the show. Don't touch that dial. Just getting started. Continue to like the show. Give us a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button. Turn all of those notifications on so we can continue hitting you with all things Bama. Thank you for watching Touchdown Alabama Magazine's YouTube channel. To continue to get the best in Alabama football content, Subscribe here and turn on your notifications to stay connected with the hottest shows covering your Crimson Tide.